Here.
Sorry, we can go down.
Here.
That's okay.
Mrs. Hahn?
Don't have any-
Here. Mr. Johnson? Mr. Paul?
Here.
Mr. Timmons?
Here.
All members of council are here and accounted for with the exception of Mr. Johnson.
I move that Mr. Johnson be excused.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and seconded that Mr. Johnson be excused from tonight's council meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Romagna?
Here.
Mr. Loretto?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Dressel?
Aye.
Mrs. Hahn? Aye. Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Timmons?
Aye.
So moved. Mr. Johnson will be excused from tonight's council meeting. I'd like to remind everyone, if they have a cell phone, to please turn them off or put them in the vibrating position. And before we move into the purpose of this meeting, which is to sunshine legislation, I have distributed to all members of council the list of council committees. We want to welcome Mr. Timmons to Steubenville City Council. We had a great swearing-in ceremony last Friday, and he's ready to assume his responsibilities. If council will note, out of our standing committees, we have replaced a former third ward councilman with Mr. Timmons, and he will serve on the Safety and Health Committee, Public Utility Committee, Parks and Recreation Committee, and Pride Committee. Other than that, all standing committees will stay the same. I have a motion to accept the committee's recommendations from the mayor.
I make a motion, in order that we accept your appointments.
Second.
It's been already made in a second that the committee of council's appointment will be approved as presented. Roll call.
Mr. Villamagna?
Aye.
Mr. Loretto?
Aye.
Mr. Dressel?
Aye.
Mrs. Hahn? Aye. Mr. Paul?
Aye.
Mr. Timmons?
Aye.
So moved. Motion carried. I want to thank the members of council. We will now move into the sunshining of legislation, and we'll start off with Mr. Villamagna.
Yes, Mayor. As council as a whole, I'd like to introduce 4 resolutions. First resolution, designating April 2016 as Fair Housing Month. Second resolution, proclaiming the month of April 2016 as National Minority Health Month. Third resolution, a resolution proclaiming the month of April 2016 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And last, a resolution proclaiming the month of April 2016 as National Autism Awareness Month. And that'll be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Villamagna. We'll move on to Mr. Dioretto.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dioretto. Mr. Dressel?
No, I think it'd be here.
Thank you, Mr. Dressel. Mrs. Hahn?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you, Mrs. Hahn. Mr. Paul?
Yes, Your Honor. I have 2 items. Both are under the Finance Committee. One is a resolution of intent to appropriate a fee simple interest and temporary easement owed by St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Stevens. What I call St. Paul's. It doesn't look like Stevens. Paul and Stevens. I'm sorry. St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. And I'm going to ask that be, we're going to waiver the second and third reading on that as a non-emergency legislation. And second, an ordinance amending section 191.01, Part B, Subpart 2 of the codified ordinance of the City of Steubenville. And I'm also going to ask that we waive the second and third readings under a non-emergency legislation, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. And the first resolution, the intent to appropriate, although waiving of the second and third, that will take effect immediately after the passage of council. The second ordinance that we're going to be amending will take 30 days after the passage, waiving the second and third reading. And this is all dealing with the improvements on Lover's Lane, the wrong way.
Could I address those, just so council understands? On the resolution, for the last month or 2, we've been negotiating with the good people at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, and we are unable to agree on a price for the property that we're going to take. So by law, you have to pass a resolution of intent to appropriate, and because we have to have the right-of-way cleared, once we get this passed next week, then the next step will all be filing an appropriation action for the property, and then that way it'll be a quick take procedure which allows the city to take the property immediately That way, the right-of-way is clear, and this is the last piece. And we have to have the right-of-way cleared by middle of April. So I'll do that. And then the second ordinance, 19101, when we passed our 3/10 and 7/10, all this is just housekeeping because we have to, our language now is for the last 5 years that ended from 2011 to 2016. So what will be changing will be May 2016 out to May 2021. And so that 30 days, that way we have to have that in place before May, and that'll take care of that. So that's the reason for those two the ordinance and resolution, and that's why I asked that we waive those three readings. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lutella. And is there anything further, Mr. Paul?
I have nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Mr. Timmons.
Nothing to see.
Thank you, Mr. Timmons. That will conclude the sunshining of legislation. We will now move into public forum. Is there anyone wishing to speak to City Council on city business? Please come forward, state your name and address.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Paula Chamberlain, and I want to talk to you about what happened to me with the Steubenville ambulance service on March the 18th. I'm on Lifeline, and I called Lifeline, pushed my button for Lifeline to get the ambulance service. I am totally disabled, blind in one eye, fully blind, and 95% blind in my left eye. And I have a serious problem, disabled, strokes and everything. And at that time, that night, 3 o'clock in the morning, I pushed my Lifeline, as I said, and they had me on my box until the ambulance service came. Took them 20 minutes, and I live right up the street from them. And they asked me would I have my door open, my Lifeline service, and I did have my door, but I opened my door up and turned my porch light on. And so they knocked on my door, and I tried to wave them in because I had problems breathing, and it felt like an elephant was on my chest. And I'm laying on a chair there, and I'm waving them in, and they wouldn't come in. I told them, just come in. I screamed it out. It hurted. So when they came in, I was in my pajama shorts, and the ambulance guy, he said, what is wrong with you? And I explained to him what I just said. So he said, can you walk? I said, I'm not too sure if I can walk. So he picked me up, and I had no shoes on, and I didn't have a jacket on. And so the lady that was with him, I asked her, could she get my jacket and some shoes right there in my dining room? And so she said, yes, ma'am. She did so and put it on. So he grabbed my forearm, both of my arms, like this. And he walked me, and I said, sir, I'm hurting. I can't hardly walk. And I'm scared I'm going to fall. I'm blind. I don't go out at night. I'm scared. So he got me outside on my porch, and I asked her to lock my door. She did so. And he got me on the porch. I got 4 steps to go down. And I said, I'm scared. I'm going to fall. He said, I'm not going to fall, so you're not going to fall. So I knew it was wrong in the beginning, because by right, he should have brought that bed in to me with my chest like it is, and I can't breathe. So I leaned against my banister going down the steps. And I got to the last step, and this left leg bubbled on me. I went down, and he picked me up real hard. And I said, please, I'm scared. So he walked me to the curb. And he said, there's a step. I stepped down. Walked me, he said, I'll walk you to the ambulance. Walked me to the ambulance, to the back of the ambulance, and he said to me, now you got to climb up in that ambulance. I said, I can't do that. He humiliated me. He grabbed the back of my pants, the shorts. I had nothing else on. And he gave me a wedgie real hard up. Just made this lady go up that high ramp to get in that ambulance. And he said to me while he was pulling me up like that, wedging me, he hurted me. And he said, watch your head. And he pushed me in. This left hand grabbed the bed to do that. If I didn't do that, I'd have been on the floor of the ambulance. I went down on that bed. He said to me, now put yourself up right on the bed. I did so because I'm hurting. I wanted to get to the hospital to see what's wrong with me. So then, he looked at, he asked me was I on any street drugs, normal ass, I guess. No, and I don't drink. And he looked at my arm and he said, you can't get a line. And I said, no, because my veins are very low. So he put my arm back down. And the girl went in and started driving the ambulance. He sat right beside me in front of me when I'm laying there. And she driving. She turned in the corner. He pushing me so I won't roll over. He did not buckle me in. Gets up there to the hospital. And he said, you have to move your butt over from the wall of the ambulance so I could buckle you in. Well, good. It's about time he buckled me in. He's doing his job now because he got to take me into the hospital. I have heard about this in different places. I'm a well-respected lady in Steubenville, been here, residents all my life. Never did no wrong here. Help people out. And I listen to people in my neighborhood, from the north end, south end, where I'm from. And they say little things about the ambulance service. And I said to them, oh, that's bad. You say something to somebody. Didn't happen to me on that day. And it made me, I was just happy to get to the hospital. And I don't know if that's the only ambulance service here in Steubenville, but I don't want to call it. I would never call it. And it's sad that happened. And it's happening to other people that's not saying nothing. I tried to call Miss Wiggins many times as I was in the hospital. I couldn't get her. I couldn't get her at all. And that was Saturday because I couldn't talk. I was real weak, couldn't breathe. And Saturday night was a chance, the first time that I could talk. My brother, Pastor Glenn Perdue, was there with me. And he said to me, you need to call somebody about this, Paula. So I finally got Miss Wiggins Sunday. And I talked to her there and talked to her yesterday fully about this. And it's sad. If they're going to work for the public, they need to work for the public of all nationalities, because I felt discriminated of me. And I'm hearing about my people and what they told me before about the ambulance service, and they should do something about it, but they didn't. So I'm stepping up to my council people and letting you know what is really going on, because it just happened to me. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to City Council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
Hi, my name is Karen D'Anabal. Address is 4636 Lexington Drive in Steubenville. I am one of the co-owners of Ambulance Service, and I can tell you that, ma'am, I'm sorry. I would like to get your name. We have not received any complaints or information at our office. We'd be happy to take her name and talk with her about the situation.
Thank you. And also, if the part of the transcript of this could be forwarded to our health department, our health commissioner also. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to City Council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address.
My name is David Cohen. I live on 920 Longford Drive. I lived in Steubenville my whole life, moved to Virginia for a couple of years, and recently moved back with my family. I really like the idea that we have an ability to change and enhance our community here. One thing that concerns me is the amount of garbage on the side of the highways on Route 7, coming from Mingo and Route 22 from Wintersville. I drive a lot for my job. I'm always Belmont, Monroe, Harrison counties, and West Virginia. Nobody has the same level of garbage that we have. Now, I know that there's more to Steubenville than meets the eye, so it doesn't bother me. But I am embarrassed for family members that aren't from here that are visiting, and people I work with that come here for meetings. You know, that's their first impression of Steubenville, is a city that can't even take care of this incredible amount of trash on the side of the road. Now, I know you guys don't have enough money to just pick that up every week. But I did read recently that the capacity of inmates in our penitentiary is going to be expanding. I know that Belmont County has volunteers from their prison population to pick up the trash. And they do a wonderful job. They're out there a lot, and I really never even noticed trash there. I think that given the opportunity, there's a lot of inmates that would jump at the opportunity to get outside and actually contribute to society. If I was an employer interviewing a person that was recently incarcerated, whether or not they volunteered to give back to society would leave an impression on me or not. So that's just a proposal that I have. I guess the question I have is there any system in place as of now to control the amount of garbage and litter? And if this isn't the right jurisdiction to propose this, then you can point me to the right people. I would appreciate it.
Thank you. First of all, the city of Steubenville, through Judge Massey Municipal Court, use court offenders throughout the summer months. We do cut vacant lots with high weeds of absentee landlords or vacant lots, or they assist sometimes in the park system also. Through the winter months, we do use court offenders, and again, the judge would have to order that. You can't just ask them to volunteer their time through the jail system, judicial system. But we do use them to also clean our city buildings. And sometimes you'll see them out there cleaning cruisers periodically. But as far as work details outside on State Route 7, the state, outside our corporation limits, is responsible for that. Yes, there is litter within the corporation limits. We try to maintain that with our maintenance crew. And we're limited to 9 individuals for the whole city on that. So the court system assisting the city of Steubenville isn't unheard of, but we can always use improvements, and I'm sure our city manager's making notes right now and may check with the sheriff's department to see if we can get some additional.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to city council on city business? Please come forward, state their name and address. If not, Mr. Paul.
Yes, Your Honor, I make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been really moved and second that we adjourn. Roll call.
Mr. Delagna.
Aye.
Mr. Guerrero.
Aye.
Mr. Greco.
Aye.
Ms. Vaughn. Aye. Mr. Paul.